If your AI can find a vulnerability, draft a patch, and open a pull request, your biggest risk is not detection quality anymore. It is workflow ownership. Who can analyze, who can approve, who can merge, who can pause, and who can prove what happened step by step when legal or leadership asks. That is what changed this week. Welcome to AI Change Desk. AI news you can use and change management you can execute. I am Michael Hannah Boutros Meyering. Every episode follows the same contract. Context, what changed. Impact, what it means operationally. Action, what to do next week. Quick disclosure before we start. AI-assisted tools were used in parts of the research and production workflow. Final editorial judgment, risk posture, and release approval stayed human-led. Boundary note, this is operational guidance, not legal advice. These are my opinions and are not representative of any organization. This is AI Change Desk. Thank you for choosing to tune in. Here is the map for today. We are covering 4 signals. 1. OpenAI launched Codex Security in research preview. 2. Anthropic and Mozilla published concrete AI-assisted vulnerability workflow details, plus coordinated disclosure guidance. 3. NIST published AI 800-4 on monitoring deployed AI systems. 4. OpenAI launched GPT-5.4 and ChatGPT-4 Excel beta, and that expands AI execution surfaces into business workflows. Then we convert all of that into one operating playbook you can run this week. Security Workflow Control Contract. 45 minutes. One owner, one memo, no theater. Quick bridge before story 1. EP005 was access control. EP006 was release continuity. This episode is the next layer. AI is moving into security workflows directly, not just drafting docs, not just summarizing tickets, actually influencing triage, fix proposals, PR flow, and release confidence. So the question is not, can the model find issues? The question is, can your team prove ownership from signal to merge? If that answer is fuzzy, speed becomes risk. Okay, story 1. OpenAI launched Codex Security in research preview on March 6th. The real signal is not one product. The signal is that security analysis is now an AI workflow surface with direct operational consequences. A common path looks like this. AI flags a potential issue. AI drafts a possible fix. AI opens or updates a PR. Humans review. Then something merges. Then something ships. Then you owe an evidence chain. That path is normal. What changed is volume and pace. 4 impacts to expect right now. First, permission blast radius can grow quietly. If the workflow inherits broad repo tokens, it can act outside intent before anyone notices. Second, review quality becomes your true bottleneck. Most teams do not lack findings. They lack consistent, high-quality validation and reviewer capacity. Third, ownership can fragment across security, platform, and product. And once ownership is fuzzy, escalation gets slow. Fourth, evidence debt compounds. If you cannot reconstruct intent, tool calls, approvals, and rollback owner, incident response starts from memory, and memory is not evidence. So here is the contract. 5 steps. Step 1, classify action phases. Analyze, draft fix, open PR, merge, deploy. Each phase gets one control level. Allowed, checkpointed, restricted. Step 2. Scope credentials by phase. Analyze should be read-only where possible. Draft fix should have bounded write scope. Open PR should use a narrow bot identity. Merge should stay human-approved. Deploy should never bypass existing production authority. Step 3. Define evidence minimums. Trigger source, tool inversion, files touched, approver, rollback owner. Step 4. Hard merge guardrails.
No direct merge on AI-originated security changes without human review, test confirmation, and explicit risk note. Step 5. Run one fail-close drill every sprint. Noisy recommendation, wrong recommendation, ambiguous recommendation. Confirm pause path, revert path, communication path. If you need one sentence from Story 1, use this. AI-assisted security speed must scale only as fast as reviewer capacity and evidence quality, not as fast as demo velocity. Now, Story 2. Anthropic and Mozilla published workflow details this week on AI-assisted security research. Anthropic also published coordinated disclosure guidance and exploit analysis notes. Mozilla published corroborating detail from their side. The operator lesson is simple. Discovery throughput is not remediation readiness. You can find more, you can find faster, and still fail operationally if handoff and ownership are weak. Here are the 4 failure points. 1. Triage overload. Finding volume rises faster than maintainer bandwidth, and critical issues sit in queue. 2. Attribution ambiguity. Teams cannot separate AI hypothesis from human-verified conclusion. 3. Timing failures. Disclosure windows get messy when comms ownership is unclear. 4. False confidence. People mistake generated exploit analysis for validated exploit reality. So run a 4-lane operating model. Lane 1, discovery. AI proposes candidates. Human verifies reproducibility before escalation. Lane 2, validation. Severity remains human accountable. Validation artifacts are required before maintainer handoff. Lane 3, disclosure. One named disclosure owner controls timeline, notifications, and external communication. Legal and comms boundaries are reviewed before public statements. Lane 4, remediation. Fix ownership explicit. Regression testing explicit. Rollback owner explicit.
And 2 hard rules. No severity assignment without human verification. No disclosure event without named comms owner and decision log. I mean, this is where teams usually skip discipline because everyone is busy. But this is exactly where trust is won or lost. If you do the lane model, you can absorb higher signal volume without breaking confidence with engineers, partners, or leadership. Story 3. NIST published AI 800-4 this week on monitoring deployed AI systems. Most teams still treat monitoring like a dashboard project. That is late, and by then, drift is already in production behavior. Monitoring is a governance control. You need it to detect drift, track behavior under real load, flag anomalies, and trigger response quickly. Operationally, 4 things change. 1. Monitoring scope has to exist before deployment. 2. Metrics must include behavior and control health, not just uptime and latency. 3. Alerts must map to named owners and decision thresholds. 4. Evidence retention must support audits, procurement reviews, and incidents. Build a monitoring control pack. First, metric schema, behavior quality, refusal and escalation behavior, security anomaly indicators, human override rates. Second, threshold map. What triggers investigate? What triggers pause? Who decides each transition? What the response clock is. Third, evidence retention. What logs are retained? How long? Who can export? Who can access? What gets redacted? Fourth, weekly operating review. One owner, one memo, one prioritized fix list. NIST gives standards language. Your team has to turn that into operating reality. If it is not in the runbook, it is not real yet. Story 4. OpenAI launched GPT-5.4 and ChatGPT for Excel on March 5th. This is not just another model headline. It is an execution surface headline. High-volume AI usage is moving deeper into analyst and business workflows, and those workflows touch sensitive data, external communications, and operational decisions every day. 3 impacts. 1. Your real control perimeter may shift outside engineering. 2. Data handling risk rises when data class and connector rules are unclear. 3. Policy friction rises. Teams either overblock and create shadow behavior
or over-allow and discover risk late. Run a spreadsheet AI guardrail sprint this week. Identify high-risk workflows, define approved data classes, define do not send classes, set connector approvals to opt in, log sensitive usage paths, publish one-page operator guidance in plain language. Let's be honest, if the policy is 6 pages long and unclear, people will bypass it. If the guidance is clear, short, and role-specific, adoption improves and risk goes down. I want to make this concrete with one scenario. Monday, team enables AI-assisted security triage and patch drafting. Tuesday, tool starts opening multiple PRs with broad permissions. Wednesday, review queue spikes, reviewers rush to keep up. Thursday, one patch introduces side effects in shared dependency logic. Friday, leadership asks who approved this path and where the evidence chain is. Without a control contract, answers are inconsistent. Now replay with control layering. Analyze is read-only. Draft fix cannot merge. OpenPR uses scoped bot identity. Merge stays human-approved with explicit risk note. Monitoring thresholds trigger pause review fast. Disclosure and rollback owners are named ahead of time. Same tool, different maturity, different outcome. All right, Monday block, 45 minutes, one owner. Minute 0 to 10, action matrix lock. Map analyze, draft fix, open PR, merge, deploy. Assign allowed, checkpointed, restricted. Minute 10 to 20, credential and identity check. Confirm identities in use. Remove broad inherited credentials. Validate token scope and expiration. Minute 20 to 30, evidence contract. Define required logs and retention. Confirm export path and access controls. Minute 30 to 40, disclosure and rollback ownership. Name disclosure owner, name rollback owner. Define stop authority, set escalation path. Minute 40 to 45, operator memo. What changed? What is approved? What is restricted? Who approves exceptions? Next review date. No policy theater, operational clarity only. Here's a practical add-on if you have another 30 minutes this week. Run a role walkthrough. For your security lead, ask, what can run without your approval this week? For your engineering manager, ask, which phases are blocked without explicit reviewer sign-off?
For your platform owner, ask, which credentials are still overscoped and why? For your comms owner, ask, who owns external language if disclosure timing shifts suddenly? For legal, ask, can we produce a clean action chain quickly for any AI-assisted security change this month? If any answer is vague, that is your next control task. Now let's talk about resistance, because you will get it. You will hear, this is too much process. Response, right-size controls by action phase and keep low-risk analysis fast. You will hear, AI is only suggesting fixes. Response, suggestion paths still influence merge decisions and release risk. You will hear, we already have secure coding policy. Response, policy without named ownership and evidence standards is not enough. You will hear, we can document later. Response, later documentation during incident is slower, noisier, and less credible. Leadership line to use this week. We are increasing AI-assisted security throughput and accountability together. Every phase has a named owner. High-risk actions remain human-approved. Evidence is required for release-impacting changes. Say it clearly, repeat it in writing, tie it to weekly review. Scorecard for 30 days. Track 6 metrics. 1. AI-originated finding validation rate. 2. Review latency for AI-originated security PRs. 3. Evidence chain completeness on AI-originated changes. 4. Overscoped credential removals. 5. Time from anomaly detection to pause decision in drills. 6. Rollback readiness pass rate. These are operational metrics, not vanity metrics. And if you want 1/7 metric, add this. Operator clarity pulse. Do I know what I am allowed to run this week? Because confusion is an early warning signal. Quick 30, 60, 90 expansion path. First 30 days. Lock action matrix, lock approval thresholds, lock evidence schema, run one drill. Days 31 to 60. Profile-based defaults by role, reviewer backup coverage, formal exception routing, weekly scorecard with leadership. Days 61 to 90. Provider portability drill, disclosure timing drill, audit rehearsal on top 2 high-impact workflows, and one cleanup pass to remove controls that add friction but reduce no real risk. That last part matters. Good governance is not maximum process. Good governance is minimum effective control. Nobody needs a 12-page checklist to approve one low-risk change, but everyone needs a hard gate on high-risk merges. That is the balance. One final practical sequence you can run every week. Monday, control decisions. Tuesday, implementation updates. Wednesday, reviewer calibration. Thursday, drill or tabletop. Friday, operator memo and leadership snapshot. 5 touch points, short duration, high reliability. If your team does this for 4 weeks straight, you will feel the difference. Less confusion, faster escalations, cleaner accountability, better confidence when leadership asks tough questions. Let me give you 3 concrete workflow examples, because this is where teams usually get stuck. Example 1. Open source dependency triage in a public repository. AI flags a potential issue in a transitive dependency path. In this case, your analyze phase can run broadly, but still read-only. Draft fix phase should happen on an isolated branch namespace. OpenPR is allowed for bot identity, but only to designated repos. Merge stays restricted with maintainer approval, and you require one reviewer who understands dependency blast radius. Evidence chain for this example should include the original trigger, package versions, proposed fix diff, impact summary, who approved, and rollback path if runtime regressions appear. The common mistake here is treating dependency updates as low risk because they look routine, but dependency updates are exactly where side effects hide. Example 2. Internal monolith service with shared auth libraries. AI proposes a security fix that touches auth middleware and logging hooks. This should be checkpointed immediately. Why? Because cross-cutting code paths can alter behavior in ways unit tests do not catch quickly. So for this case, Analyze can run. Draft fix can run in a sandbox branch. OpenPR is allowed with mandatory security label. Merge is restricted and requires both service owner and security reviewer. Deploy is restricted with rollback rehearsal before rollout. And yes, I mean actual rehearsal, not just a line that says rollback available.
If your rollback owner cannot explain the exact command sequence in under 2 minutes, your rollback is not ready. Example 3. Regulated workflow with outbound communications. AI flags a vuln in a workflow that eventually drives external customer messages or documents. In this case, discovery can remain fast, everything else tightens. Draft fix might stay checkpointed. OpenPR checkpointed, merge restricted, deploy restricted, and communication sign-off becomes part of the same workflow, not an afterthought. Because if behavior changes in a regulated communication path, your incident can become policy, legal, and trust exposure at the same time. So the practical rule across all 3 examples is simple. Risk is not just how severe is the bug. Risk is also how sensitive is the workflow path this change touches. That is why action phase controls matter more than tool-level approvals. Let's add one approval ladder you can use immediately. Level 1. Informational. AI finding only. No code changes, no external impact. Owner can acknowledge and park with review date. Level 2. Internal change. AI proposes fix with local scope. Checkpoint required. Named reviewer required. Merge can proceed if test pass and evidence chain is complete. Level 3. Cross-system or user-impacting change. Restricted. Dual approval. Rollback owner named before merge. Monitoring threshold lowered for the first release window. Level 4. Regulated or high-impact path. Restricted plus leadership visibility. Comms owner assigned. Legal-aware escalation path active. Post-release validation scheduled before closeout. If you cannot place a change into one of those 4 levels in under 1 minute, your team will stall or improvise. And improvisation under pressure is where avoidable incidents happen. Now, operator memo format. Make it short, make it weekly, make it consistent. Line 1. What changed this week? Line 2. What is approved by action phase? Line 3. What is restricted and why? Line 4. Who approves exceptions? Line 5. Who owns pause and rollback? Line 6. Next review date and channel. That is it. Do not send a wall of policy language. Do not bury decisions in a long thread. Use one message, same shape, every week. Teams also ask, how do we avoid reviewer burnout if volume spikes? Good question. Use reviewer capacity rules. Rule 1. Cap concurrent high-risk AI-originated PR reviews per reviewer per day. Rule 2. Rotate reviewer duty by week with backup coverage. Rule 3. Pre-label PR risk tier so reviewers can triage quickly. Rule 4. Auto-route unclear ownership items back to queue, not directly to merge. Rule 5. Track review queue depth daily for restricted tier items. If queue depth trends up for 2 weeks, you do not have a model problem. You have a staffing and workflow problem. Another common question, how do we know if controls are too heavy? Use a 2-part check. Part 1. Control effectiveness. Did this control prevent a real failure mode? If yes, keep it. Part 2. Control friction. Did this control add delay without reducing measurable risk? If yes, redesign it. The goal is minimum effective control, not maximum ceremony. One more practical template, incident bridge script. If a risky AI-originated change ships, the first leadership update should include what happened, what scope was affected, what was paused, who owns rollback, what evidence exists right now, when next update is due. If that script is ready ahead of time, incidents stay controlled. If that script is invented in the moment, incidents get louder than they need to. Final pre-close checklist you can run in 10 minutes before any restricted tier merge. 1. Is ownership explicit for this phase? 2. Is approval threshold correct for this risk tier? 3. Is evidence chain complete enough for later attestation? 4. Is rollback owner named and reachable now? 5. Is monitoring threshold adjusted for post-merge watch? If any answer is no, you hold the merge. Not forever, just until the contract is complete. One final practicality note for smaller teams. If you are running lean and you do not have separate security, platform, and comms teams, do not copy big company process. Use compressed ownership. One person can hold security review. One person can hold deployment and rollback authority. One person can hold communication ownership. That is fine as long as those roles are explicit for the week and visible in writing. What fails small teams is not lack of headcount. It is hidden ownership and changing assumptions. So for lean teams, run this ultra-short weekly pattern. Monday morning, review the action matrix and update approvals. Wednesday midday, check queue depth and reviewer load. Friday end of day, publish the operator memo and confirm next week owners. 3 checkpoints, 15 minutes each, still better than reactive chaos. And if you are in a larger organization, do the opposite mistake check. Do not let this become a giant committee process where nobody can make a decision quickly. Set decision rights in advance. One owner for each phase. Clear escalation path. Time-boxed exception approvals. Speed with ownership beats either extreme, unmanaged speed or heavily bureaucratic delay. Close. AI in security workflows is moving from novelty to normal. So the question is not whether to use AI in security. The question is whether ownership, approval, and evidence can hold when volume rises. Do not scale AI-assisted security actions faster than your organization can review, attest, and recover. I am Michael Hanna Boutros-Meyering. This is AI Change Desk. AI news you can use and change management you can execute. This is AI Change Desk. See you next time.